Close your eyes and picture this. Earth, not as you know it, but as it was, 4.7 million years ago. No cities, no civilizations, no signs of modern life, only endless wilds. Towering forests sprawled, rivers raged. On open savannas, echoes of wild beasts filled the air. In this ancient, unforgiving world, a small, fragile creature began a journey that would one day lead to us. This is not a tale of kings or empires. It is the story of survival and resilience, a chronicle of humanity's earliest ancestors. Against all odds, they managed to sustain life in a brutal and merciless world. The Earth back then was unpredictable. Seasons shifted drastically. Torrential rains would flood rivers. Harsh droughts cracked the land into dust. Each change determined life or death. To survive here, you had to adapt or perish. Here lived our distant relatives, the Australopithecus anamensis. These small hominins walked upright, yet remained closer to apes than to modern humans. Despite this, they carried within them the first spark of humanity, the first steps on a path leading to everything we are today. Walking upright was their advantage. It let them see over the tall grass and spot lurking predators. With their hands free, they could travel farther. Those hands became their tools, gripping stones, sticks, and bones that nature offered. Nothing yet was refined or crafted, but every small attempt brought a lesson and a step forward. Imagine one ancestor stumbling on a sharp-edged rock. Initially, it was just a curiosity. Soon enough, it evolved into a method for cracking nuts or scraping meat from bones. Within these tiny discoveries lay the seeds of technology. Yet survival was far from easy. Food was scarce. Danger never rested. These ancestors began as gatherers, searching for wild fruits, digging for roots, stripping leaves from branches. They watched the animals, learning which plants could heal and which might be poisonous. Meat was a rarity, usually scavenged from kills left by larger predators. Picture the desperation. Creeping toward a lion's kill, trying to snatch a few scraps of meat before other scavengers appeared. Every bite was a risk, yet hunger drove them to press on. Predators lurked everywhere. Saber-toothed cats prowled, their jaws built for killing. Packs of giant hyenas hunted with bone-crushing teeth. In the waters, enormous crocodiles waited silently. To walk alone meant courting death. That's why early humans stayed together. Groups became families. Families became survival units. In unity, there was safety. A watchful eye warned others, and a mother's protection gave the young a chance to grow. The group, above all, became their shield. This was the dawn of society, not built on words or laws, but on trust and instinct. Communication was raw, yet powerful. Spoken language did not yet exist, but their bodies spoke volumes. A warning cry, a pointed hand, a sudden stillness in the group, each was a vital message of life and death. With time, sounds took on new meaning, and gestures grew more precise. Thus, the roots of human language began to grow millions of years before the first word was ever spoken. As the sun set, survival became grueling. Nightfall was harrowing. Without fire, darkness turned hostile. Predator roars echoed, shadows closed in, and fear seized every heart. To endure, they sought refuge in trees or caves, clustering for warmth and safety. Still, amid terror, curiosity flickered. When lightning struck and forests ignited, they caught a glimpse of fire. They dreaded it, yet revered it. The blaze brought ruin, but also light, warmth, and power. Someday they would master it. For now, it remained just out of reach. Time taught them. Each season forced learning. Droughts made them travel for water. Floods drove them to higher ground. Predators demanded cleverness, out-thinking danger, not out-muscling it. Their brains grew, problem-solving sharpened, memory deepened, Instinct became strategy. Reaction turned into planning. This was evolution, slow, across countless generations. Picture early humans working together. One finds a fruit tree and calls the others. Another warns of danger. Lives are saved. Slowly, sharing and survival became a way of life. They weren't just individuals. They were a species learning, adapting, preparing for the future. Even as they grew, the world continued to test them. Volcanic eruptions scarred the land, and earthquakes shook shelters. Disease, starvation, and predators claimed lives. For every survivor, another was lost. Yet those who endured passed on strength, knowledge, and resilience. Across centuries and millennia, something extraordinary happened. Their brains expanded, tools sharpened, and groups organized. What began as a fragile struggle became a story of progress. Intelligence sparked into flame, the flame that would lead to fire, language, art, and civilization. Life, 4.7 million years ago, was merciless. Yet it marked the beginning. From creatures with no words, fire, or safety, rose ancestors who defied extinction. They endured hunger. They braved predators and adapted to every challenge that came their way. Because they survived, we are here. Look at modern cities, technology, culture. It all began with them. Fragile beings who fought just to see another sunrise. Their story is not just history, it is our story. It reminds us, even in harsh worlds, survival is possible when we adapt, unite, and persevere. This is the story of life, 4.7 million years ago. The story of how prehistoric humans survived. The story of us,